Right.
Boys are dumb.
Hello and welcome to the first show of 3/3 Game Nerds. I'm your host, Adam.
I'm Wynnie.
And I'm Eric. And today we're talking about our favorite mechanics in Magic the Gathering EDH.
Commander. What?
EDH.
So, what's the difference, EDH and Commander? What are we talking here?
EDH was what it was originally called whenever, like, the judges at the events
Yes.
would play games with all their old cards, and they're the ones that actually made this format, at least to my understanding.
Elder Dragon
And Highlander.
I was
Highlander,
literally
yes.
going
Right?
to ask what it stood for.
Yes.
Thanks.
Because there was the legends in Legends set. There was those dragons like
Yeah.
Nicobolus and there was 5 of them, and that's what they started
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, and those also got reprinted and revamped here, last year or year before?
They were printed Legends. They were printed Chronicles,
Yeah.
which was a reprint set, and then they did get reprinted in one of the
New sets.
new sets, one of the new reprint sets. So first, I think that we should start off, though, before we get into that, is kind of our level of Magic the Gathering experience, so they know where our viewpoints are coming from. So I'll start.
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've been playing since like 1995. I started mainly with 4th edition. The game started in 93, right? 92, 93?
I don't
Something like that. I don't know. Whatever 4th edition came out, that's when I started.
We were babies.
Don't tell them my age. Shut up.
You already did.
And I played for a good 10 years straight from there, and like got into competitive and went to a lot of tournaments and things like that, which of course I didn't net deck at the time, so we did not do very well. But I still had fun playing it, and we would only play multiplayer. Well, back then, multiplayer meant you could have 4 of a card in a deck. So we made some ridiculous stuff.
Yes.
It was a ton of fun. But everybody had 20 life instead of 40.
Oh. Yeah.
So,
So basically like standard Magic.
it was standard Magic, but multiplayer. So I played for that good stint. I mean, when I had the most fun was when the whole Urza's block came out. Then the Mercadian Mask thing came out, and then I kind of quit because Planeswalkers became a thing, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm not playing with Planeswalkers. They do too much. This is stupid. And that's kind of when Magic was thinking that, everybody was thinking that was kind of gonna die off. So I quit. I sold off a lot of my collection, and then we moved here to North Carolina. And my wife is like, you know what? Go out, make some friends, and go to the local game shop. And Eric loves this story. So I go to the local game shop to start playing Magic again, and I had no idea what the hell was going on because I was out of the game for, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. And then I met Eric. And it's all gone downhill from there. So that's where I sit. I'm coming from old school Magic, so I will forget a lot of terms. I will forget a lot of names of cards because I got an old brain. Eric usually corrects me after he stumbles over his words for a while. You'll find out. He's talking next.
Just 2 or 3 words, that's it.
So, Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you. You tell us your little history.
I've been playing Magic since about 2008. I think that's whenever the 10th edition and Warden set came out. I think it was basically right whenever you quit.
Right when I quit.
I basically started playing.
When Bouncing Beebles came out and everyone quit.
Yeah. So, like, I originally was playing like tokens, and I wasn't playing very competitive. About 2 years after that, I started getting more into the competitive scene, and I started playing in more of the F&Ms at our local game store, which at that point was
F&M.
Friday Night Magic.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And started dabbling more into EDH as the time went on, and definitely like a lot more of the newer mechanics. But that's really about it for EDH wise. But been playing a bunch of board games since then.
Yeah.
So
So, Wynnie, let's hear where you're coming from.
Well, I had never heard of magic until I started dating him. And I didn't really have any interest in it, to be honest. But he constantly would go to the shop and go play Magic the Gathering. So as a surprise for him, I decided to try and teach myself with internet research, which it was a struggle, I'm not going to lie. But I wanted to impress him. We were still, newly dating. And so I wanted to impress him, and I didn't actually really start like playing or anything for the past 2 years, I guess.
Yeah,
I've played a little bit.
Yeah. The few times that we've gotten together.
Yeah.
That's about it.
He built me a deck and was like, here, this should be easy enough for you to understand the cards, because all of the people from the shop had cards memorized and knew what they did. And I was like, does that affect me? No? Okay, you're good then. It's fine. I don't know what I'm doing anyways.
Your favorite saying when somebody plays that is, do I care about that?
Pretty much. And then so I'd take my hand and I'd be like, Eric, what do I do?
Yeah.
Which one of these is best?
When you play with these two, you're literally playing against these two. Because Eric
him.
Eric coaches Wynnie.
I can attack him, but he can't attack me until it's like he has to.
Until he has to.
Also,
but plus, you kind of know better.
Yeah, also make it to where if I'm the person that needs to be targeted more, I'll tell her that she needs to actually attack me, though.
Sure.
So, I do. Actually,
He's
I do.
honest.
Oh, no, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so I'm definitely new. Don't know much about it. I have, simple things in regards to it. He likes very complex, multifaceted cards and mechanics. And I'm like, what does this do? Just that one thing? Okay, we're good.
Yeah. So I like that, like I said, I've said this before, is I like our dynamic because we got old school Magic, we got mid school Magic, and we got newbie Magic all into one. So you're getting 3 different opinions coming out of us from 3 different skill levels and 3 different time levels of the Magic community.
But my opinion's always right.
Of course. If you say so.
You've learned. I already had him trained.
Yeah, but I don't say yes, dear, because that would be weird.
I don't say yes, dear.
What, to him?
Alright, my favorite mechanic in EDH is clones. So basically...
Terrible.
No.
It's his favorite.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Amazing.
Nope.
But, right now, my personal commander for my clones is Sakashima the Imposter. It comes into play, copies any creature on the battlefield, and I can pay mana return to my hand at the end of turn. But clones themselves, basically, your win con becomes my win con, and I try to control the way it goes. So,
and I hate every second of it.
No.
Stop stealing my deck.
You hate one card in it. You hate one card. It's really just one card.
What card does he hate?
He hates Time Stop. Such an amazing card because it's simply in the turn. Anything that's on the stack, which is basically whenever you play something, it goes onto the stack.
It's the ultimate counterspell.
Yes, it is ultimate counterspell.
It's counter your turn.
Yes. And basically it stops your turn wherever it is, no matter what. But there's many different cards that have this ability. There's enchantments, there's sorceries, there's instants. Some enchantments actually copy other enchantments or artifacts.
Like copy artifact?
Yeah. Like literally copy artifact.
Old school.
Yes. And copy enchantment, which they do exactly what you think they would copy a artifact or an enchantment that's on the field.
Did you put Mirror Maid in there?
Mirror Maid?
Mirror Maid.
Which one's that?
It copies an enchantment.
I don't have
2
that
blue and a white and a colorless. It's a newer card.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I haven't actually updated this deck in quite a while. Right. Some of the examples of the creatures that do this is Clone, Phantasmal Image, and Clever Impersonator.
Which one's the one with Flash?
That's actually
the clone with Flash.
The clone with Flash is... Which one is that?
Oh, he doesn't know.
I don't remember.
You know the card, though.
Stunt Double.
Stunt Double, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that one's actually a really good card because literally I can play it on your turn and copies. Like, say if
Well, it's got flash.
Yeah.
It's a flash
I
clone.
say that's
Yeah.
what flash means.
so like if like you
Yes.
have a piece of combo
wait, I
and
learned
someone else does, I can just win right there.
Yep. Jerk.
I can just win right there.
So your best way to play against your clone deck is to play nothing. Because then you literally can't do anything.
That is not necessarily true though.
But you've gotten frustrated when I haven't played.
Yes, it is very frustrating.
You got a handful
He's like,
of stuff and
he's like, please
do
just
something.
let me clone something of yours.
It is very frustrating whenever you're playing against like a spellslinger deck, which basically their whole deck is all instants and sorceries. Because I don't have many spells to actually.
You don't have fork? Oh, that's
Yeah,
red.
yeah,
All
that's
that stuff
red.
is red. Yeah.
I do have Twin Cast though, which I can copy any instant or sorcery. But I think that's the only one in this deck that actually copies the instant or sorceries that I have.
Yeah, red does more of that.
Yes. So it's very frustrating whenever you play against something like that.
Poor baby.
Yeah. It makes me
You'll
want to
be
cry.
all right.
It's really about it. Basically, it's whenever I come to a table and I don't know the power level, it's usually the deck I'll break out because it's a pretty middle of the road power level. At least at the moment it is, and I can.
Well, you're playing at whatever power level everyone else
Yes.
is because you're just playing their cards.
Yes, essentially.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just good.
It's a good deck, but I hate playing against it.
Yeah, it's gonna have a whole lot more updates to it.
Shut up. So, one of my favorite mechanics is playing stuff for free. Okay.
For free.
For free.
Yeah.
So, for example, I got very into collecting cards that cost 0.
Cheerio.
I
Why
need
do I-
some of those.
I need to. Okay. So, yeah. So, stuff that costs 0. So, for example, Mox Diamonds, Mox Ambers, Baubles. That is some of the things that cost X. Is it part of that collection too?
I knew about that.
Because X can be 0. So there's a lot of different 0 casting cost cards. Most of them are trash. Most of them are older cards. For example, Memnite, the 1/1 artifact creature that costs 1.
And then you also got
so I don't need those?
They don't really work.
This stuff like Shield Sphere, it's a 0/6 wall that costs 0. I mean, it's a lot of 0 cards don't do much, but if you put a ton of them in a deck, they do a lot because you can. Some of them are like tap, draw a card, which again the baubles.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect of cards that cost free. Okay. Free cards kind of goes a few different directions. Then there's stuff like alternate casts, but you're actually not paying mana for them. For example, like Fire Blast. Fire Blast is an old Visions card, and it's 6 mana to do 4 damage to a creature or player. It's a red spell. Or you can sacrifice 2 mountains and play it for free. Okay. Everyone knows what's the counter spell?
Force of Will.
Force of Will.
Don't say everyone. I've heard of that card before.
Yes.
Yeah, I want
But
one.
I don't. Not everyone.
So Force of Will, of course, it's a pay 1 life, pitch a blue card, and you can counterspell for free. You don't have to pay the 5 mana that it costs. There is actually one of those cards for every color. We were just talking about it a minute ago.
Yeah.
So the black one gives a creature like -2, -1 till end of turn.
No,
The red one, which is one that I use, where you pitch a red card to do 4 damage to a creature, and you can actually split that 4 damage any way you want. The green one, I don't remember what it does.
Yeah, I'm very curious about what the green one does.
What color am I leaving out?
Black?
I said black.
You did?
Yeah, it's got a picture of a cat on it.
Oh.
I don't remember what it's.
Was it white?
The white one I think is like gain life in a certain situation, but it's like really lame. I don't know. I don't remember. Again, there's my old brain. But so that's another aspect of free cards. There's also a third aspect of free cards, which are things like what blue does, where you have Palancron, where it's pay 7 mana, untap 7 land when it comes into play.
Giant Whale.
Great Whale. Giant Whale. One of those two.
Is it Great Whale or Giant Whale?
There is a Great Whale, but I think the Great Whale is terrible, so I think it's Giant Whale.
Watch, I'm wrong.
Something. It's one of those two.
Story
But
of your life.
It's 7 mana for like a 5/5, and when it comes into play, you untap that. Rewind.
Yeah.
4 mana counterspell. Untap 4 land after you play it. Time Spiral. One of my favorite cards. I used to play with 4 of those in like every single blue deck. Again, when we did the old Commander rules, multiplayer rules.
No phones.
Somebody forgot to put the phone on silent.
It was you.
No, my phone's over there.
Okay.
No.
So, but Time Spiral, where it's 6 mana to take your graveyard, your hand, shuffle it all together, and draw 7 new cards. Untap 6 land. I mean, it's an amazing card. Still is. I still love it. So that's another aspect of free. Of course, the commander that goes into the free deck is my favorite deck that I have built for commander, which is Animar.
No. No more.
Animar Soul of Elements. For crying out loud. Gotta mute everything.
Party foul.
Animar Soul of Elements, which coming up on the screen, protection from white and black. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Animar. Creature spells cost you 1 less colorless mana to cast for each +1 counter on Animar.
Gets out of control really quick.
I made Animartifacts.
Called it junk.
But
Called it trash. Yeah, it's my junk. I'm gonna call trash. And the deck literally ends up playing completely for free, because it's play a card, draw a card, play a card, draw 2 cards, play a card, draw a card. Every time I play a card, everybody takes a point of damage. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. But the whole deck is free, and I freaking love it. The great thing, though, my number one reason for liking zero or things that play for free is no matter what happens in the game, you get to play the game. You're at least putting cards on the table.
Not
even if you get mana hosed, you are still putting stuff on the table.
Not if I say in turn. Time stop.
You could take your time stop. I think you just time stopped my my whole thing here because I'm actually done talking. It's Wynnie's turn.
Oh.
How about now?
You make too many sound effects.
Whee!
Oh gosh, inappropriate. Okay.
What? It's a spring.
It's my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Yes.
So silence. For a second at least. Okay. Since I'm new, I don't have very many mechanics that I'm familiar with, and I've only played with a limited amount of them. So I'll keep this short and sweet, like me.
Oh, Lord.
Anyways, so one of the first decks that Eric built me was a Lifelink deck for angels. Because he calls me his angel.
I gotta go.
Bye. Okay.
Jesus.
So, should I put like a warning, like
no,
sappy?
Just go, man.
Okay, calm down. So Lifelink is a lot of when you do something, you get to gain life. So like attacking, you can gain life if you attack with that creature if it has lifelink. So, like, for example, Archangel of Thune has flying and lifelink, and whenever you gain life, which was all the time in that deck, because all of them were given lifelink from my commander, I would be able to get +1/+1, which would make them stronger for when they attacked. So I really liked this one because I'm not necessarily like a gung-ho, I'm going to attack everybody and do 50 million things and make my turn take 5 hours type of person.
So it'll take 5 hours?
Some of them would. It was ridiculous.
When we get to most hated mechanics, the next episode, you'll see.
But, so I really liked being able to gain life, so Soul Warden is another one that I really liked because
Classic.
when a creature enters the battlefield, you just gain
Classic.
life. So I would just have all these counters just to add extra life because I couldn't keep up with it. And then I never got to use this except for when I just played like one-on-one with Eric because he'd pretty much let me win to help me get used to
Of
playing
course.
my deck.
You won fair and square.
Yeah, it was totally fair and square.
You can't even say
I think I maybe even only got to play this card one time.
That's a great card, too.
The Felidar
Yeah.
Sovereign.
Yes.
So
Can't
it
buy it
has
anymore.
Vigilance and Lifelink, and the most important thing is its ability. At the beginning of my upkeep, if I had 40 or more life, I could win the game.
Yep.
And that's one of the only ways that I could actually win the game.
So
'Cause
broken.
I have not become a strategic player or anything. I'm not familiar enough with the cards and the mechanics and just how to play offensively and defensively at the same time yet. So Lifelink was great for me because I could stay alive even if people were coming at me. I'd just be like, oh, well, I'll just get some more life. Let me just play this and earn some of my life back. I very rarely got below 40 life, even when being attacked.
No,
during that.
I don't think so, because I think the few times.
Just gain it right back.
Well, yeah, there's that, and I think the few times that you have played this deck, the way that someone won wasn't necessarily through damage.
Yeah, and then the other reason that I really liked this deck was because it was flying. And flying was a bonus for me because I'd be like, I can attack you, and you don't have flying creatures, so
Why don't you just throw
you're out of luck.
horsemanship in there?
I thought
Flying
about it.
horsemanship.
What's that?
You can only block horsemanship with creatures that have horsemanship, but yet they can block everything else as well.
Anyways, well,
It was a
then.
short-lived mechanic that was like way overpowered.
Oh, gotcha.
Kind of like a shadow.
Yeah, but Shadow can only block. Shadow can only deal with Shadow. So you got regular, you got flying, and then you had Shadow. And Shadow can only deal with Shadow. It couldn't block regular creatures.
Oh, I thought.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No, so that was the drawback to Shadow, is that you had to stay in the Shadow realm once you had Shadow on it. You couldn't come out of it there to block regular and flying. So, I mean, now nobody plays with Shadow, so it's basically, you play Shadow, it's unblockable.
yeah.
That's it. That's
Life Gain is great for newer players because they get more time to actually play the game. I know I said something silly with
you said life grain.
But it's great for newer players. I mean, every time I try to teach somebody, I have a deck with Orolo,
Oh, yeah.
and when he's in the command zone, every turn you gain 2 life. So no matter what, you're gaining life every turn.
Thanks for explaining.
Yeah, I have to.
I appreciate it.
And
I really do have to.
he opens up 3 colors for you, so you get to experience blue, white, and black. And it's a great beginner deck. You should make her one of those too.
He doesn't make me.
Because then it's vampiric too. So it's when she gains.
I'm
when you gain
willing-
life, everyone else loses
I'm
life.
willing to branch out, but the reason he hasn't done anything like that is because
There's a lot of ugly cards.
I don't.
They're not all pretty.
Whoa!
I know you like pretty art.
So we're bringing that up. We're bringing that up already. Okay. Yeah, I like pretty artwork. I prefer cards with pretty artwork. But that's not the only reason. The main reason is that I don't necessarily care for the cards that are black because they're very aggressive. And I know that you might think I'm aggressive, but when it's just not me. I think of that as
That's not your
his
playstyle.
brother. When I think of black, I think of his
Robbie.
brother's
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
But
He's out of control.
I
Yeah.
just haven't really. I mean, I'd try it, but it's just
It's
not
not your
really.
style.
It's not really
Yeah.
me. I'm more of a blue, white, green type person.
Blue's very aggressive. What are you talking about?
Blue is not that.
It
Blue-
can be.
Okay, well
Blue
let's look
typically
at
is more controlling.
all of the cards.
Yeah.
Mono white.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of this show. That is show number 1 for the books. Thanks for joining us today. Please subscribe to all our social media channels. What are we on? Instagram, Facebook. What
YouTube.
else? YouTube.
Yeah, we're gonna be on
Hit the bell. Ding ding. Whatever, all that stuff. I don't know all that stuff. Wynnie, you're young and hip. Tell the kids what to do.
You already told them what to do.
All right.
Like and subscribe. Oh, and follow. He forgot follow.
See, there you go. So, and tune in next time when we do another show. We don't have a tagline yet, so that's how we're ending it.